Group settings can help out when you're wishing to assign different types of assessments to different groups. However, the process is a little bit more complicated than simply adjusting group settings. As an example, I'm going to log into this English course. I'm going to open up the editor, and then I'm going to locate an assessment that I want to have some students take one version of and other students take another version. So I'm going to open up the Right Word quiz, and here I can adjust my activity directions, my settings, and then when I come to questions, however, if I decide, okay, I want my first group to take this quiz and take all the questions 1 through 38, I can select a group, modifications 1 for an example, and then click Save. Then I might decide I want to come back in, and now on modifications group 2, adjust some of the questions or remove or choose which ones are most important. However, once I select the trash can, I can see a warning pops up that indicates that deleting a question deletes it for everyone regardless of which group they are in. In that case, I can then see that there's a different process that needs to be utilized if I do in fact want to assign different assessments to different group members. To assign different assessments to different group members, my suggestion is to make a duplicate of the said assessment that you want to have different versions of. So in this case, I'm going to duplicate the Right Word quiz. I'm going to have it duplicate to the same folder. Once it duplicates, I can see that it's called the exact same thing. So I'm going to first go ahead and name these to indicate which one is which for me as the teacher. In this case, I'm going to call this first version of the quiz M1. I'm going to click Save. And then the second version of the quiz, I'm going to call M2. And for this demonstration, I'm only going to have 2 versions. From here, I can use the group settings up above, and then I can decide on the visibility of each of these. For the Right Word quiz M1, I'm going to want my modifications 1 and 2 groups to complete this version. I'm going to make this not visible for my modifications 3 students. Likewise, for the Right Word quiz M2, I want my modifications group 3 to complete this version, so I'm going to make this not visible to students in groups modifications 1 and modifications 2. When I have completed that, I'm going to head back to the syllabus, and then I'm going to go into the assessment in which I wish to make more modifications and make those. So I'm going to open up the Right Word quiz M2, and for this group's quiz, I want to adjust some of the questions. Rather than having select the word that best completes the sentence, a question that looks like that 3 different times, I might decide I only need 1. So I'm going to delete these 2 questions. Please keep in mind that anytime you delete a question from an assessment, in Buzz, you are breaking the link to the vendor version of that assessment. Typically, there's a link so that if a vendor makes any adjustments or changes, they trickle down into your copy of the course. However, when you go ahead and remove questions, the system is smart enough to know the teacher is modifying this for a reason. The link is broken so that those changes do not trickle down and affect the settings and things that you've adjusted. Important to keep in mind and just be aware of when you're modifying assessments. Then you can continue to go through your questions, removing ones you don't feel are necessary or adding any questions. You can also go into a question, go into the text editor and adjust the question itself. What it's asking, you might change some of the language. You might even decide to remove some of your answer options. Once you are done making your adjustments, you can go ahead and click Save. Another important thing to remember as the teacher is that this will affect how the gradebook looks to you. As a student, they will only see the items that they have visible to them, and it won't cause much confusion. However, as the teacher, you will likely just want to keep in mind that you will have some assessments for some students and some assessments for other students. So if I take a look at this, the Right Word quiz, M1 and M2, I can see that these 4 students will not have a grade in this version, and these 2 students will not have a grade for the first version.